Guys, I want to report to you about what has happened at Campi Flegrei just yesterday. There was another earthquake swarm, a larger earthquake swarm, and that one was stretching out for about a day and a half, ending with the largest one, 3.4 magnitude. So basically right now, Campi Flegrei is producing a significant earthquake swarm with a larger magnitude, basically every 1 to 2 weeks, 1 week, 1.5 weeks. So May 20th with 4.4 large earthquake swarm, month of May, over 1,500 earthquakes, the largest number that they have recorded there. And now we had just a short time ago another earthquake swarm ending up with 3.7, 3.5, 3 point something. And now we had one with 3.4, and it was felt in Naples. Why are these earthquakes felt so much? Because they're shallow. And as always, this earthquake came with a roar, how they call it. You really hear it. It sounds like a missile that's coming to you like zzz, boom, right? It's kind of scary. So it was accompanied, as they say, by a roar, not only by a shaking. And it occurred at 3:58 a.m. local time in Italy, and it was felt, of course, throughout Campi Flegrei, that 100-kilometer long supervolcanic area with lots of calderas, and in the western area of Naples. So we're talking about roughly 1.5 million people that were affected by this roar. And you can see a graph here that shows the intensity of this shaking. And it was, as it was in the morning hours where people were still sleeping, it was a rude awakening for many people who live on this Campi Flegrei supervolcano or near it, because they're settling right on it, unfortunately. It seems that the epicenter was in the coastal area of Lucrino in Pozzuoli. The shock, of course, comes with a phenomenon that's happened there that's called bradyseism. That's a land rise. The land is rising up because something's happening underneath. Magmatic fluids are pushing up, magma chambers are filling up, stuff like this. You see it here on the graphic behind me. They could feel and hear the roar all over Campi Flegrei, but also in Agnano and Bagnoli neighborhoods in the western area of Naples that also are on that caldera edge or in the caldera of that supervolcano. The depth was, as I said, very low at 2.9 kilometers. And that's why, as I just said, it contributed to the fact that they could feel it even more. When this earthquake happened, so there was a prompt communication from the municipality of Pozzuoli, which was the epicenter anyway, to the citizens that there was an earthquake. I mean, the citizens probably felt it anyways. I mean, they've been through these earthquake swarms in recent months and last year as well. So yeah, they know that. What they're interested more is, will this seismic swarm lead up to a potential eruption of that volcano? That's the problem. They are preparing another preparatory exercise in the Campi Flegrei area in the next few days in case that they have an evacuation that will be caused by a strong seismic swarm. So their evacuation scenarios are basically related to strong seismic events rather than a volcanic eruption. Because if you've seen my video that I released yesterday, the minister that's responsible for the civil defense basically said it's not very likely that an emergency eruption would be successful. You know what that means, guys, right? The INGV, the Italian Institute of Volcanology and Geology, has also released their new weekly bulletin where they report about what's happening underneath Campi Flegrei. So they said that in the first 6 months in 2024, the ground did rise or lift up 9.5 centimeters. So they're only reporting to June 16th. So June 19th today. So we're probably at 10 centimeters. So we know that this has accelerated. But let's talk about the last week. That's the time frame that they report about. They have recorded 43 earthquakes in 7 days from June 10th to June 16th. And they say that the level of land rise per month is still 2 centimeters, but it used to be 1 centimeter per month. So that has accelerated just recently. So basically before April this year, the ground did only rise 1 centimeter, and then all of a sudden it doubled, and we're seeing these strong earthquake swarms on a regular basis. I don't know. I haven't heard any scientists comment on that, but what I find concerning is this on a regular basis. Because if you're watching my channel and you follow the events in Iceland, that stuff is happening on a regular basis, and it's just preparing for the next one because the magma chamber is just filling up again, guys. They're saying in this bulletin, and in this bulletin, it ended on the 16th. So that was the beginning of that recent earthquake swarms with 1.2, 1.3, yada, yada, yada. But then the big one happened after the reporting period of that bulletin. So in that bulletin, they're saying there are no elements that suggest significant short-term developments. If you compare it to the Brady seismic event that was really plaguing the area in the 1980s, the land rise was approximately 10 centimeters per month. But there is a difference, and we have to take this into account. So when we compare these two events, is that the crisis of 1980 only lasted for 2 years. That's when it produced these land rise. And the current phase that we're in began already in 2005 and then has intensified since 2016. So a way longer period. So a slower, longer process for whatever reason. With that bulletin, they have released a map that shows these 43 earthquakes that they have measured in the last 7 days. And you see the ones on land and the ones in the water or underneath the water in the Gulf of Naples, Gulf of Pozzuoli. And the larger the blue dot, the larger the earthquake. So don't forget, the just current one, 3.4, is not on that map. And I think the 1.8 is also not on that map that happened as well. They're also watching the fumaroles in the Solfatara. These are these hot volcanic vents that releasing steam and volcanic gases, and they're measuring the temperature on a regular basis. And residents have reported that just recently, the scientists show up there on a regular basis every day, which they did not before. So there must be an increased level of concerns. So right now, what they're reporting in this bulletin is that there are no significant changes in the geochemical parameters compared to the previous week. And there are no trends that they see that there's an increase in flows and in heating of the hydrothermal system. So they're measuring the heat of these fumaroles. They have temperature sensors that they have installed in a 5-meter distance from these fumaroles, and they measure an average temperature of around 95 degrees Celsius. So when would they actually decide to evacuate the area? So to trigger an evacuation, the condition that is necessary is that the Council of Ministers needs to declare a state of national emergency. And then upon proposal of the National Civil Protection Department and upon request of the President of the region, then that would be triggered. Then the head of the Civil Protection would take the necessary measures. And then the mayors would adopt an order for eviction of all the residential settlements that would be affected by this evacuation order. So they have different scenarios. They have a scenario for the Brady seism, That would be triggered in case of a significant increase in ground uplift. And we've seen this kind of after the May 20th earthquake swarm, the 4.4. All of a sudden, the ground did rise 2 centimeters in only 4 days, although it was 2 centimeters per month before that. But the authorities have said these were just basically coincidences, right? So not really abnormalities like measuring defaults or something like this. I'm still not convinced, I have to say. But let's say the Brady seismic evacuation scenario needs a significant increase in ground uplift and in seismicity, and the seismicity needs to increase in frequency and energy. And then they would consider evacuating the restricted intervention zone of Campi Flegrei. If you look at that map, that is the purple zone. They call it conditions would arise that would cause significant damage to the structural elements of building and infrastructure systems so that they can no longer guarantee people's safety, the functionality of these structures, and basic services for citizens, or in any case, the coexistence of the population with the ongoing Brady seism phenomena. So this is this zone. Based on their findings, they would be able to trigger the possible or partial or total removal of the population. But you have to understand, this is the map for the Brady seismic evacuation. We've talked about the volcanic evacuation in the recent videos, and we know that the Minister of Civil Defense said it is probably impossible to evacuate successfully, and they cannot guarantee safety. Guys, that was a quick update. Check out my update about Mount St. Helens. Mount St. Helens is rumbling again. They call that a recharge event. And if you want to know what that is, check out the video. It's in the end screen, guys. And if you're new here, check out my playlist. Lots about Iceland, the Titan submersible, Campi Flegrei, and other stuff. Subscribe, leave this video a like. And if you want to support my channel, guys, that would be awesome. Leave me a super or buy me a coffee on buymeacoffee.com. Link is in the description of this video. Thanks so much for keeping me up and running with the coffee. But you know, guys, I use this to support my farm, so it's greatly appreciated. Lots of you have been asking if I have like PayPal or something like this. I don't. I'm using the Buy Me a Coffee website, and yeah, if you want to subscribe there, it's totally for free. Then you get an email if there's an interesting, significant event. I don't want to spam you with too many emails, but if there's a significant eruption, of course, guys, I will let you know. I see you very, very soon. Bye-bye.